So what if you have an example like this where you want your subject to stand out in front of your text? In this case, we would want her foot to stand in front of the text. We can do that. We just need to separate the um, subject from the background. So there's many ways you could probably do this, but I'm going to show you this way where you're using your selection tools. The first thing you're going to do is duplicate this layer. So you can control click and select duplicate, or you can take and drag it down to this button here that looks like a little piece of paper with the corner folded over. That's the new layer button. If you drag that there, it made a copy. For now, we're going to hide the background layer and we're going to hide the text layer. So we're just going to edit this layer here, and this is the layer where we're going to delete the background from. So we're trying to get rid of the background so we just have the subject. So there's various tools you can use. With this particular background, I'm going to suggest using the magic wand tool to start, but some of you may find that that tool might not work for your image and you might need to use the quick selection. Regardless, you can just do a really general selection at first, and then you can refine your selection with the quick mask mode. So I'm going to take the wand, and by the way, this is what we're looking for. This is where we have the background here, we have text, and then we have our subject in front of the text. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So I'm going to take the magic wand tool, and it did a pretty good job finding those pixels that are around the subject. But there's some areas that we need to kind of fix. I can see that it did kind of a funky job selecting around her face and maybe some just random pixels here. So I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to select that area. I'm going to select the area in between those spaces in between her arms there and fingers. So right now we have the background selected except for this chunk and except for that little piece around her face. So once we have a general selection made, we can go into quick mask mode and edit our selection. So if you go down to the bottom of the palette here, there's this button here, and I'm looking at the bottom of my tool palette. There's this button that looks like a camera. It's a rectangle with a circle in the middle. And when you click on that, it's telling me everything in red that is not selected and everything in white is selected. So we can add to that selection and we can take away from that selection using the paintbrush. So you have to be in quick mask mode in order for this mask tool to work with the paintbrush. So you're going to use black paint and white paint. Black conceals, white reveals. So I'll zoom in and show you. If I take black paint and I paint in the masking mode, I'm going to use my brush to make, or my bracket keys on my keyboard. If you take a look at your keyboard, right next to the letter P, there's a left bracket and a right bracket. Those will help you adjust brush sizes quickly so that you don't have to go up to the menu option and try to find the right brush size. So if I just go like this, that just changed my selection. So I'm going to go back out of quick mask so you can see how that changed the selection. So I'm going to reselect that, since using the magic wand, I'm going to dump it back into quick mask mode. And I'm going to fix some of these selected areas that were giving me some problems. So black conceals, white reveals. If I switch to white paint and I start painting, it's revealing. If I go back to black paint, it conceals. So if you can remember black conceals, white reveals, that will help you remember when anytime you're masking something in Photoshop. I'm going to just get a pretty decent selection here. And actually, her foot is the only area that's actually going to need to be in front of that text. So if we don't get it perfect this time, it's not going to be a big deal. So I need to switch it back to white because we want to reveal, right? I'm going to make my brush bigger to get it done faster. Get all of that masked. Okay. flip it back out of quick mask mode, and I notice there's these little areas down by her fingers here that need to be part of that selection. I'm going to hold the shift key and add to that. And then when I hit Command 0, and that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to hit the delete key on my keyboard. And everything that is selected was deleted. If it's easier for you to select your subject first, and then the background and delete the background, you can do it the reversal. What you would do is just do select inverse. And so it switches from the background to the actual subject. Okay, so now I have the layer behind it, the layer in front of it, and notice I can't see the change because the exact same photo is right on top of it. If I were to go in and actually move this, you can see that you have to have it perfectly aligned, okay? And then I'm going to show the text layer, and I'm going to bring this layer to the top. So I'm just dragging it up above the text layer, and there it is, right in front.